But first tonight, more than 1,000 children in Melbourne's Outer West won't have a school to go to in 5 days' time. Administrators announced late today that Mowbray College in Melton and Caroline Springs will be forced to close next Wednesday after running out of money. Only years 11 and 12 students will be able to finish the term. And I'm joined now by Education Minister Martin Dixon. Minister, thanks for your time. What's going to happen to these students?
Well, we've been working on this eventuality for the last week or so, and we've been working with local government schools, local Catholic schools and local independent schools from the areas where these students come from to ascertain as to where the vacancies are, what year levels these vacancies might occur, and we're giving all that information to the parents so they can make a choice of school for their children. Can
state schools absorb this amount of students at this stage of the year?
Well, no single school obviously can absorb that many, but the students actually come from quite a wide area across the western and northwestern suburbs, and we're confident between the state schools, the independent schools and also the Catholic schools in that catchment that the schools will be able to absorb that many students.
Will you give more resources to the schools that are taking these students on, like more teachers?
Well, if a school takes on, for example, an extra class, well, obviously we will fund that school for that amount of money. And if a child transfers from the independent system to a government school, obviously that costs us more, but we will fund that.
Is it possible, as the Greens are calling for, to make Mowbray College a public school and keep it open, at least in the short term?
Look, we need to do a lot more work yet. The administrator needs to do a lot more work to ascertain what actually happened here at Mowbray. And then the VRQA here in Victoria needs to look into the situation as well too. I think it's too premature to say what might be the future of the campus, but our immediate short-term concern are the students, and to make sure that they're settled into a new school as soon as possible for the beginning of next term.
But there's a great level of concern from students and their parents, particularly with children in Year 12. Is it a possibility that you might be able to keep the school open at least for this year?
No, we're putting in $1 million loan to the administrator so that the students in VCE can complete this term because they have mid-year exams. It's been our number one priority. And then the other students, as I said, we've been working on alternative arrangements for those students. This is not something that can be solved overnight, and obviously the children need to go to school for the rest of this term and next term, and we really want to settle them in as soon as possible into a new school so that they can complete their school year with some sort of stability and consistency, which has obviously been, the students have been the ones that have copped this, and we're trying to look after them as best as we possibly can.
Does this make your relationship with state teachers more difficult than it already is? They're planning to strike on Thursday, and some will now have to take on more students.
No, I don't think so. I think, in fact, the cooperation we've had from all schools, both government and non-government in the area, that are willing to take on students from this school has been first class. And all teachers are concerned about their students, and our schools, our government schools especially, have said they're more than willing to take these new students on, and that's what teachers are about. They're there for the kids, and it certainly hasn't been a concern that's been raised.
They're there for the kids, but they're also saying that they were promised they'd be the highest paid teachers in Australia when you're in opposition. Nurses went on strike for 8 months, and public servants are still waging a long campaign over pay. How long are you prepared to do battle with teachers?
Well, we entered into negotiations in good faith with the teachers, and the union have called off those negotiations. We're more than willing to talk to them. We've put an offer on the table that would make the best teachers in Victoria the best paid in Australia, but the union have walked away from that. But we're more than willing to engage them again in conversation and negotiations about an outcome.
Minister, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Josie.